Hey, it's Mark with Mark's Virtual Real Estate Channel. We're back with another Upland video, and today I'm talking about Rio. Actually, I might have two videos today, one for Rio and one for our Lazy Node contest announcement winner. But this one is about Rio, and the collections are being released tomorrow, very early again. So we'll talk about that. I'll talk about some strategies in Rio and what might happen in Rio as far as collections and predictions. I had some predictions before, but some interesting things have happened in Rio since then that I think are very, could create a lot of opportunity and maybe some different strategies in Rio as opposed to some of the other recent city releases. So we'll talk about that. Of course, we love the likes, shares, comments. Keep those coming. Love to see new subscribers as well. And like I said, we have our lazy nodes going, which are in Neponset in Queens and Henry Ford in Detroit. I'll have a video about our winner and choosing a winner on that here very soon as well, or maybe I already had it, depending on when I release these videos. But, I also have a real estate channel, Mark Ferguson Invest for More as well. He goes over our flips, rentals, being an agent, all kinds of great stuff there too. All right, so I'm in Rio. We're in Upland, a virtual real estate game where you can buy properties, rent, flip them, sell them. They're the same lot size as real life, which is cool. And Upland releases cities every 6 to 8 weeks or so. And so far, if we scroll out here, this is the first international city. Most are in the United States. You can see quite a few cities in the U.S., but this is the first international one, and lots of cities in this area here. And my Block Explorer is just hanging out at JFK Airport right now. It's free travel to Rio, free travel back, and I don't treasure hunt, so my Block Explorer's just been hanging out at the airport for 5 days or so. Kind of like that one movie. Was that the airport with Tom Hanks where he just gets stuck in the airport forever? But here we are in Rio, and you can see I sold almost all of my properties, which was pretty crazy because I had 80 some up here, and they're all gone. And there's some interesting stuff happening in Rio, though. I still have, I have one minted property left, right? And that's down here, which I kind of thought would sell, but it's kind of expensive as well. It's a named property. I minted it for 90, was it? Oh, 116,000. I have it for sale for 189. Not a huge markup. It's in a good location. Leblon, good neighborhood, possible collection, but it just goes to show the higher mint properties you get, the harder they are to sell. The cheaper ones you get, the easier they are to sell. That's always been that way. And I still have a couple properties on Memdesa that I picked up real early on the secondary market and thought they would be, good plays, and they have not sold. So maybe they weren't good plays doing that. And if that isn't a collection, although this one is in Memdesa and in Lapa, which could be a collection, then I could be out on some big money. So maybe they'll sell before that. We'll see. But we can kind of see, what prices are. Whoops, wrong button. By going to upexcellent.me. Make sure you clear your cache or do an incognito window, because if you don't, Rio might not show up. But we can search the street. We can see what's for sale on this site and see what other people are asking. You can see there's properties for 90, 99. They're small. So I still have, mine is small too. That one's cheap. There's just cheap stuff in there. And so I don't know if I want to lower my price anymore or not. Then I would be losing money or risk losing big money. I'll think about that later today. But that's something to consider. If you miss on the collections, it can really cost you at some of those streets if you paid a lot of money for those properties. All right, so what else is going on in Rio? Well, if we look at the prices overall, let's see here. The floor, I just looked on Up Excellent, but I wanted to see if it's the same here too. 9,700 is the cheapest property in all of Rio right now. And that's a little lower than it has been. So the floor was around 10, 11 for a long time. Kept going up, was doing pretty well. Now it's down to 9,700, not bad. But what we're seeing too is some neighborhoods really shooting up in value. And what that is from is kind of, what's been taking over Upland a little bit in nodes. And we have the Lazy Node. It's a community where you get together, buy properties, build on them. We have a Discord around our Lazy Nodes. And you can really drive up prices that way when you have a community buying properties. And we can see one which has been making, some headlines around Upland. Whoops, we'll take this off here. 164,000 is the lowest price in Monero right now. And I want to see, is it Monero or Monera something? I don't know how to say that exactly. I wanted to check on my YouTube and see, this is our contest here, but let's see here. If I had properties in that area, because I might have. And we can actually, the cool thing about my little,
Hey, it's Mark.
we'll mute that, and we can scroll all the way to the end and see where I was minting properties. Does that show us where all my properties are? Oh, that's, yeah, lots of them right there, lots of them right there. I don't know if I had any in Monero, but I had a ton right around it. And so, oh yeah, I was still minting properties at that point. So I was still looking for good deals. Let's see. Let's look at this here and see if we can see any blue dots. Oh, maybe. Oh, scroll out of there. No, I see. I don't think I had any in Monero. I can see right there. So I did not get any in there. And I think a group targeted that area from the very beginning and tried to mint as much as they could there, buy as much as they could there. It's a fairly small neighborhood, so not a lot of properties. You can see they're building like crazy. So that's what's interesting about Upland now, and it's not brand new. It's been happening for a while, but it's getting more and more, is the nodes can be more important than the collections. So yes, the collections are being announced tomorrow morning at like 6 a.m. my time, which is mountain time. So I haven't decided if I want to get up for that or not, because there's no minting opportunities. You might be able to snag some properties for cheap. But you also might be able to get some cheap properties at neighborhoods that aren't collections. And that's something I want to talk about is there could be, there's a lot of neighborhoods we could see, who knows what will be collections. It's hard to speculate because I don't know Rio that well. I can give you a few ideas of what I saw before. But if people think some of these neighborhoods are going to be collections and then they don't end up being collections, like I really wanted to mint, properties in Saud, and I tried to get this YouTube space, and it's actually for sale now, but it's $500, and I don't think I want to pay that much for it. A lot of people might think that's going to be a collection. A lot of people might think Gamboa is going to be a collection. Some of these other smaller ones. But then, if they aren't collections, those prices could drop significantly right away. You can see Saud, you can, in the low 20s, you can get some. I haven't checked the Gamboa prices yet. And so if that's the case, they're pretty cheap in Gamboa, and that's a pretty small neighborhood. So there could still be opportunity here. Lapa's like 40,000 to 50,000. If Lapa's not a collection, those prices could drop significantly, and it's a very small one. And then that might be an opportunity for someone else to start a node in those neighborhoods, or us to start one. I don't know if I want to do one here or not. I've thought about it. I've gone back and forth. I can't decide. Because I know a lot of people said the international players and local Rio people want to start nodes there too. So I'm like, well, do I want to take away that opportunity from them? Or what if multiple people have nodes in the same area? That's kind of something. What was that name? I thought it was Gloria. I was going to check that one. Yeah? GL? Oh, there it is. So I don't know what happens if two groups start a node in the same area, right? 24,000. So there's some that are, fairly inexpensive in there. That's a very small neighborhood. So there's lots of small neighborhoods in here that could be nodes, and then they might add more neighborhoods later. So there's just a lot of different things to think about with Rio. But where I'm going with this is if you are gambling on a collection, you're gambling on a small neighborhood gaining a bunch of price, you're kind of hedged a little bit in your bets, because if you do get your collection, great, maybe you make some more money, good work. And if you don't get it, maybe it becomes a node and those prices jump anyway, it just might take a little longer. So unlike the other areas like Vegas, even parts of Queens, Los Angeles, you see nodes happening there, but there's so many neighborhoods, so many unminted properties, it's really hard to pick where a node could be. There's less neighborhoods in Rio, and a lot of small ones, and a lot more people wanting to start nodes here too. So that could mean And even if you miss your collection, you could still be okay in the long run. So my suggestion to people is don't sell out right away at the lowest values you can. At least that's what I wouldn't do. I would hold on to properties if I miss my collection and see what happens in the future, and see if you know, a node is started or other people, you know, something else happens in that neighborhood, and just keep your investment in there. Because now if it's a street, that's a little tricky, right? Because the streets, you don't really see nodes on streets too often, once in a while. But if it's in a neighborhood, then you could see some opportunity there later on. So what I predicted for collections before is kind of the same. I mean, anything along this coast, Copacabana, Ipanema, Leblon, LeMay, I mean, any of these could be collections. I'm not the one out there trying to predict exactly if it's rare, ultra rare, all that stuff. I let other people do that. And then, you know, Atlantica Street could definitely be one. That's one we've looked at. This street right here along water, any of the beach streets, you know, could definitely be a collection. There's some famous streets. Like I said, the Mem de Sa, the very famous street, is kind of like listed as the #1 famous street by a lot of people when you search Google. This one, what is it? The Bronco Street over here has been talked about. Oh, right there. Yes. Avienda, Rio Branco, even Avienda Presidente Vargas. This one here has been, we mentioned as well, the Avienda Rodriguez Alves. So many different streets on here. So again, it's hard to predict what Upland will do, because sometimes they use the most, you know, popular, the ones you'd think they would be as collections, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they try and trick us. So it'll be interesting to see going forward. If you really want to try and dial in on collections and guess on stuff, I say hop on our Discord. Lots of discussion going on there. Check out some other YouTube channels. I know, you know, I don't go as in-depth and crazy on collection predictions. And this video is more about the speculation in neighborhoods and what might happen after collections are released. And there could be some massive opportunity to get cheap properties after that in neighborhoods that might eventually explode. So that's something I'm going to watch out for. And I may even look at buying some properties in some of these neighborhoods before the collection that are small and cheap because of that as well, because then they might turn into a collection or a node, either one. And right now, if you get in before the collections, they might be cheaper than after. All right, that's all I've got for this one. Good luck, everyone, on the collections. I may or may not get up and do it. I can't decide yet. We'll see. And of course, we love the likes, love the comments, love the shares. Love seeing new people on our Discord and join the nodes. And we'll be back with many more videos coming up here soon. We'll talk about the collections and different things as Rio moves on. Talk about lots of other stuff with the lazy nodes and different things as well, too. Take care.